Okay. All right, welcome to another FLAVR Q&A. Today is the continuation on Pro 400 Fuji film, Pro 400H. And when I went to set up my shoot first thing in the morning, being half asleep, I loaded it backwards and I destroyed an entire roll of film. So it gives me the opportunity to show you what a 120 roll of Pro 400 looks like. So it's got a bunch of designations and so forth. But as you roll through, you've got a starting point, and that's indicated by here. And some cameras that you put 120 film into will have markings to tell you where to advance this to this start position. There are also markings that show you the advancing of the film, and what you'll find is that there'll be either dots or numbers. So that's a number one right there. And so depending on your camera, you may have a little red circle at the back that will actually indicate the number so that you know at what point you're on to your next frame. And on the back here, we can see that that's where the negative is, and it's held in by tape. So you've got the actual film itself, this layer, and then you've got a paper layer which sits in at the back. And then as you go through and you roll and roll and roll, and you can see it's got more numbers. If I do that, that's probably, it's all upside down anyway. But you can see that one, that's a 2. So it just rolls and rolls and rolls. It's got all these dots to show you where you're going, and the reason why there's different sets of numbers, it depends on the format that you're shooting your camera in. So if you're in 645, you're going to get more frames, like this bottom one, 6.7, and then 6x19, which only gets 4 frames. I think it's only 4 frames per roll. Let's find out. So basically, as you go, depending on what format you're using, you'll get so many rolls or so many shots. And let's see, we've got 6. So it's probably, so the top one is probably 6x9, because you get I think you get 8 shots from 6x9. Yeah, that's right. You get 16 from 645 and 12 shots from 6x6. So if you're shooting a Hasselblad 6x6 or a Veronica 6x6, you'll get 12 shots. If you're shooting a 645, like a Mamiya 645, you'll get 16 shots. And if you're shooting a 6x9, something like the Mamiya, the press camera. So it has interchangeable backs and leaf shutter lenses at the front. It's a pretty cool camera. And they have you can, not only, because the backs are interchangeable, you can have 6.6, 6.7, 6.9 backs, plus a Polaroid back that sticks on the back there as well. So you can see that that's the film. That's the film. And then, whoo, there it goes. And then at the end of it, it'll tell you that everything's exposed, and then eventually you'll have this tab when you get to the end of your roll, like that. You can see it tells you that it's 120/400, what processing to use, and then there's a little tab here that you can then lift to expose. To tuck it all in. There's a little tab there. Tab that. So exciting. What a mess. Anyway, that's the film. Obviously, I can't really do much with that now, but it's interesting. And with film, so you get this question a lot. It's like, is there a difference between Pro 400H in 120 and Pro 400H in 35mm? And it's like, no, it's all cut off the same sheet. So if you can imagine a big sheet, and then they cut, just like like sheets of pasta almost. And then if you want 35mm, instead of cutting it at 60, you cut it at 35. And so you get a roll of 35, depending on the length. So different lengths will give you different sets of exposures. But basically it's like a large sheet that they cut into pieces. So the characteristics of 35mm, there are certain caveats to this, and they exist within the world of, say, a product like lomography or another third-party products, where the source of the product may change depending on when they buy it. But for your Fuji, for your main primary producers, the stock is the stock is the stock. So if you're using E100 and it's in 35mm, it's in 120, it's in 4.5 sheet, it's the same stock. Okay. So that was fun. Destroyed another roll of film. Again, when I was talking about archiving, like, it's plastic, so this stuff just lasts. As long as it's stored properly, it lasts for ages. It'll last longer than, a hard drive or a CD or a Blu-ray or pretty much anything else you can think of. Even CD would start to sort of get a bit wonky after a while, after about 30 or 40 years. So yeah, lots of numbers. It's pretty cool. Like when you got one of these little cameras that actually will show you the, like it's a little reticle, and it's a little red reticle because obviously you don't want to burn or sort of get any fringing in your images. It's pretty cool. You're winding on, and then you can see the small dot, the medium dot, large dot, and then bang, 6, and then you got to stop because that's where your next exposure is. So yeah. So as much fun as it is to, to kill a whole roll of film, it is kind of useful to be able to go through and explain what it looks like and what the numbers are, and the different sizes as well. So that's pretty cool. So today on the project, so after destroying this roll, put another one in and it's like, okay, put it in the right way. And so the sunrise is at 6:03, and then I was using the digital camera with the spot meter to evaluate exposure, and then evaluate the exposure for the particular gray swatch that I'm using to calibrate all of these images. And as the sun increases, as it rises and it increases with intensity, I'm taking photos of each of the passports as they increase by stop. And the theory behind this is that you'll be able to use it to, well, hopefully I want to see if you can take a normal shot and then make it look like it was shot at dawn, basically. And then have 7 stops of range in terms of those golden hours, and see whether that will actually work, and if it'll work, if it will correspond with digital as well. So stay tuned for that. That's definitely coming up shortly. And again, haven't had any questions, so if you guys got questions, put them in. Otherwise, you're going to be listening to me droning on for about 9 minutes. So we'll see how we go, and I'll keep you updated. All right. Take care and keep shooting film. Bye.